In this second example for task exceptions, we're going to add an extra layer of conditions for exceptions to be applied. Let me find a customer here. Let me say, this Brian McFadden. I'm going to go here to my task. Brian's a good. I'm going to say example 2. Brian, we're going to give Brian 20% off on lab. Now here are my conditions. Of course, first one is going to be specifically talking about Brian. Here's him. And we're going to add another condition, which is going to be based on the task categories. And it's not for everything. It's only for lab work. So all the tasks that apply the category lab, we're going to give Brian 20%. So here we are determining the conditions of the procedure to fit. If the procedures fit this condition, so number 1, the patient must belong to Brian. Number 2, the procedure, the charge has to be one of the task titles, which category is lab. And we're going to add a price condition. Operator here is going to be minus percentage, and we're going to give 20% off in that case. Save. So if I go to a patient that belongs to Philip, well, Philip is not a good example because he was one of my first exceptions. Let me use Claude, Jetstream, and Jetstream procedures. Let's say deworm, which is a lab exam. It is applying the charge. Sure enough, the deworm, $2, no exception. And I know if I go here to my task management and I select my deworm, I'm sorry, I should have Coggins. Let's do Coggins. It was my bad. Let me go back to that horse. Jetstream. Let me delete. It's not deworm that I want. I want Coggins. It's a lab. It's gone. So I'm going to do Coggins. Double click. We should not have the exception anyways because this patient belongs to Claude, and therefore $30 for the Coggins, it doesn't apply. Next, I'm going to Brian's. Let's grab Palmer. And I'm going to go procedures, but because Palmer belongs to Brian and Coggins, it's a lab exam, so then this should automatically put 20% off. So I'm going to go here and say Coggins. Submit one. So $30, it's now applied the exception, and when I look inside the exception, it's 20%, so 30 minus 20% is 24. So this way, the exception has been applied directly as expected based on 2 conditions, the name of the customer and the type of task category. So those were my 2 conditions, and once it fit, it applied just fine. For example, if I apply deworm here to this particular patient, it should not have the exception because deworm is not a lab exam in the category. And sure enough, the deworm does not have the exception, as you can see here. So today, you've learned how to use multiple conditions in task exceptions. Thanks for watching.